You guys like topical creams on your podcast? Oh, 6.7? I don't buy it. Best I can give you is 0.27. If you don't get that joke, then I got a button here I can press that'll turn you into sand. Boop. You can stay until the wind blows you away, Sandman. But as a side effect of this, my audience is now 7 trillion grains of sand, make me the world's second biggest podcast. Welcome to Comtown. I'm an Adam type who wishes he were a Nick type and has the talent and corpulence of Stavros. This is a podcast about being gay and not saying the N-word and doing impressions about being gay. But this isn't a direct ripoff. I'm different because my impressions are bad. I tried to do Alfred from Batman once, and my friends thought I was doing a Chinese guy. Oh, Master Wayne, the Joker is stealing our fried rice. Terrible. Anyway, this is now a gossip podcast where I gossip about people I know from 5 years ago. I used to know this girl who was like more of a friend of a friend. I knew her for years, but I still never saw her other than through this one mutual friend. And there was a period of probably several months, probably ongoing forever for the rest of her life, but at least when I was hearing about it, it was a few months. And every time I saw this mutual friend, he would tell me the latest bit of gossip of whatever she was up to, because she was just acting real crazy. Not like shoot up a mosque crazy, not boy crazy, but girl crazy. Cheating on her guy, breaking up, getting back together. She bought a parrot with a lifespan of like 20 years. And that's the one thing that I kind of agree with. If I go crazy, I hope I just pirate max it, really go off the deep end. Eye patch, cut off my leg, get a parrot, sail the high seas, illegally download movies. There's also a pretty hilarious suicide attempt where she tried to overdose on NyQuil. And I looked it up. You can actually overdose on NyQuil, but even she admitted later that this is a pretty funny way to go about it. Just crazy stuff, just being crazy. I remember one time my friend was telling me about it, and I said something like, damn, she needs therapy. And what I was really thinking was, damn, this bitch crazy. But as autistic as I am, I understand sometimes you have to word filter things to be socially acceptable. And I'm even kind of anti-therapy, but that's what you say. And it backfired. The one time I try to fit in and they say, well, actually, I think she needs less therapy. Because apparently she went through like 4 or 5 different therapists and just kept firing them and getting a new one until someone agreed with her and validated her dumb decisions. And that brings us to today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Are you some sort of crazy retard who needs to pay a stranger to watch you cry on a Zoom call because you have no friends or family or lovers or anyone who cares about you? Well, don't start a podcast. Use BetterHelp. Are you tired of going to a real-life therapist where there's a human connection and you're dealing with an actual person face-to-face? They give you pills, you lie down on the therapy couch, and then later you wake up sticky? Why bother? People smell. You can just do a Zoom call. Talk to a screen, and you get sticky in the comfort of your own home. I promise you, no one on BetterHelp is certified or qualified or trained in any way. They're most likely crazier than you are, and that's a good thing because they have a lot of experience. This is not new ground for them. It's real easy. You just sign up on betterhelp.gov and schedule your first appointment, and you'll get on the Zoom call. They'll put you right through on a collect call to the San Antonio Correctional Facility, and You'll talk to a man who inside is nicknamed the rapist. And that's how you know he's qualified. You don't even have to vet the guy. His name is the rapist. And while you're on that call, you give him the promo code. The promo code is shut up. And then you pinpoint every insecurity and just berate him until he cries. And when he cries, that's your reward. That's your little cherry on top. And then after the session ends, the next day you wake up the best morning of your life. It's a new day. It's a new life. And you go into your credit card website and you dispute the charge and say it's fraud because you're pretty sure that was not a qualified, trained therapist. BetterHelp. Taste the rainbow. Big thanks to them for sponsoring this podcast. And don't forget, promo code make a convicted rapist cry on a Zoom call. Where was I? The crazy girl. So after a few months of just hearing gossip about this, my friend invited me to his home, and it wasn't like a party, like it was like a hangout. Really, he just wanted to play Risk, and his girlfriend didn't want to, so he had to invite enough women and gays so that she could sit in a corner talking about bobby pins, I don't know, while the real men played board games. And he sort of warned me beforehand that she was going to be there, this crazy girl, and she might act crazy. So I said, fine, whatever. I went and we played Risk. The girls and the gays sat in a corner in the cuck chair watching us play Risk. And before I tell you what autistic thing I was doing there, I will say I was not the most autistic person there. One guy playing Risk called someone a faggot, and the Jesus-looking gay guy in the corner didn't say anything, but he definitely noticed. He definitely looked up. At least I have more awareness than the other guy. Anyway, when we were playing, one player had a pretty strong foothold in the Middle East, and he started trying to like convince people to do stuff, to turn on other people, break their alliances, just make them do stuff to benefit himself. And I kept just calling him Israel and like, stop it with your Jewish whispering, your Israeli lies. I did it the whole night because no one ever took the Middle East from him until the game ended. I don't remember who won, but I just went hard on the Israel Jew jokes. Jews control the world. I'm going to say he won. I don't know what happened, but he won. Israel won and Germany was defeated. I was Germany. I had Europe and I lost it. A sad day for all mankind. 6-7. Anyway, I saw my friend soon after one-on-one, and he asked me if she seemed crazy in line with the stories that he's told me. And I said, no, not really. She just seemed like a normal person. Honestly, if anything, I probably sounded super crazy with all the Israel shit. But one thing we did notice that I mentioned, he agreed with after, like, yeah, I was thinking that too, but didn't say it, was she did spend a lot of time bragging about how depressed she was, really boasting, really just, oh man, just pity me. Oh, my life is so hard. I'm so depressed and sad. And that's a pretty crazy thing to do. Why are you proud of how shitty you are? There's this line from, I don't know what it's from. I always thought it was from Marcus Aurelius, but then I couldn't actually find the quote. So maybe it's a paraphrasing of something, or maybe I just fucking made it up. Maybe I read it on a Snapple cap. And it feels good to be a victim, because when you've been wronged, then everything you do becomes right. It's like just a social currency or a moral currency where you can spend it in any situation and you just automatically win. It's like when a guy dying of cancer is a dickhead to like a barista or something. most people are going to be like, yeah, you got to just let it go. He's dying. He's got AIDS. And even then, it's still pathological, right? Like, the craziest thing about it is that she's embracing this depression and loving it, fetishizing it. Like, you're in love with your sadness. What a gross thing to do. Also, she was kind of fat. But throughout this, and then after that, after having that conversation about her, I was thinking that you just kind of, people will be as crazy as you allow them to be. Because, no one in her life held her accountable for anything. The dude took her bag, people bailed her out of whatever situation. People allowed her to, we allowed her to just talk crazy, talking just, even if it weren't like a pathological crazy thing to say, it's just boring to go to a party or mini party and talk about, oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, I'm going to kill myself with NyQuil. So depressed. Oh, it's boring. You're being stupid and boring and gay.
Shut the fuck up!
I saw a video where it's probably like this New York subway or something, some kind of train, public transit, and this guy was just acting real crazy, just like yelling and stomping and flailing around. And a guy sitting near him said, I'll knock you the fuck out, I swear to God. And suddenly he knew how to behave. Suddenly he could just calm down and stand still and get to where he was going. You see those guys, you take out on public transit, you see these crazy dudes and you just try to avoid and get away. All you have to do is threaten violence and suddenly they know how to behave. So it wasn't quite involuntary, was it? You should test that. Whenever you walk around, you see some yelling crazy guy, he probably doesn't have a knife. Just threaten him, threaten violence, threaten harm, and see how that goes. See if they can suddenly behave. Especially do it if you're really small and weak. Film it. Give your phone to the nearest homeless person to film it, and then email it to me at thepresident@whitehouse.gov. I want to see it. The other day I was on a long-ish drive pretty late at night, and I was getting sleepy, so I decided I was going to stop at a McDonald's and get a Diet Coke and just stretch my legs. So I went in, and I was kind of just sitting there resting a little bit, and these three dudes walked in who were being pretty loud, not like in an obnoxious way, but just, you heard them. If you were just zoning out, you're eavesdropping with ease. And I was trying to figure out if they were gay or autistic. For some reason, those voices sometimes sound similar. And I concluded that they're probably autistic. And one of them, I think, clowned on me. They tend to just speak in like non sequiturs and jump from topic to topic, which I'm sure reminds you of no one that you can think of. So he said something about, what are you, Bugs Bunny? And my shirt was a pretty Bugs Bunny color, but I wasn't even like paying attention, so I looked up, he was looking at me, and then he looked away, and I wasn't even sure if he was talking to me. He probably was, but, who cares? It's like hardly a burn. It barely makes sense. It's a sort of insult you would think of if you were just a retarded person. And if I were in a better mood, I probably would have played along, because once I determined that they were autistic and not gay, I found them kind of endearing. But I was in kind of a bad mood. Instead, I was thinking about, what if I squared up and taught them a lesson about just shouting insults at random people, even ridiculously mild, barely an insult. And I'm a pretty big guy. I lift. I'm pretty strong. I train combat sports. I'm a pretty intimidating figure. But of course, if like at this point, I've already been owned by these three retards because just casually insulting me as they're just chilling, waiting for their apple slices and extra shoelaces or whatever the fuck they're at McDonald's for. And I'm thinking, what if they just pull out their concealed carry katanas and slice me in half and I don't even recognize it for several seconds? Imagine the story in the news. Local retard murdered by 3 slightly more retarded men. Obviously, I wasn't actually gonna beat them up. Just scare them, just threaten them, put the fear of me into them. But I found them kind of endearing. They're the fun kind of autist, like just really unaware and like the world's never crashed down on them. They've never been like beaten up. They've never been taught to like, yo, stop being so weird. They're being as crazy as we allowed them to be. And here crazy is different. And not to say that the crazy girl's behavior is acceptable or okay, but a similar concept. Because I'm probably kind of autistic, and I'm not the fun kind of autistic. I'm the notice patterns kind of autistic, and hyperfixation, and not just shouting nonsense and having fun at McDonald's. And I was wondering if maybe the world just beat that out of me, the fun part of autism. Not necessarily physically, but, pressures in all forms. So maybe it's a good thing that they didn't get beaten into not being autistic. Got clowned down by that fucking autist. How come gay guys and autists kind of talk the same? And also, how come really Christian guys are often sort of just gay looking? Like real, like trim and lean, and the way they dress, and there's just something about him. You think like, yo, this guy might be a little bit gay. Then you find out like they go to church 7 days a week, and so you know for sure they're gay. Speaking of gay, there's a book called Stand on Zanzibar by someone. I don't know. There's a character in there. Spoilers, by the way. There's a character who is a synthesist. He synthesizes ideas, just reads a lot and learns a lot, and just associates them and finds connections and reports them to his employer. And really, he's a spy, but that is part of his job until he gets sent on a mission. So I just synthesized something. A long time ago, I worked with a guy who was gay, and because he's gay, he talks too much about his sex life, so I know he was a top. And once another coworker's wife met him, and she mentioned later that she didn't think he was actually gay. She just thinks he couldn't get girls, and so he just started fucking dudes. And I thought at the time, that's a crazy idea. Who the fuck would do that? Like, just fucking jerk off rather than fuck man ass. But later on the Calm Down podcast, on this podcast, I heard apparently when you go to like gay orgies or gay sex parties, they charge like a cover charge at the door, and it's a lot more expensive for bottoms than tops, because apparently the gay community is like 80 or 90% bottoms. And his third one is sort of like the most unreliable. It's just like a 4chan post about a gay guy talking about now that like the gay community has a lot more trans people, they're finding that all these tops would rather fuck trannies than like actual gay guys. And he's concluding that all the critics were right. We really were just guys who couldn't get girls, and we started fucking dudes. And now that there's like an option, sort of, or like girly looking dudes, that's all they want. And so I'm wondering if like the synthesis is it that like all gay people are bottoms, and then top gay people are just like like losers? Someone's got to chime in on that. I really got to fucking find some friends. Maybe BetterHelp will help me find friends, because this would be a lot more interesting if I could just talk to someone and then they would bounce back ideas and they would say, no, that's stupid, you're wrong. And it would also probably help me fill out the time, because I'm at 20 something minutes and I don't have anything else to talk about. recently I was talking to someone, and then I finished this long autistic monologue, and I said, "Now I am done talking." And people kind of appreciated that. They enjoyed having a clear, maybe we're all autistic. I think I'm going to become fun autistic again. Stay tuned. I'm going to insult every person I pass based on the color of your shirt and what cartoon character it made me think of. 6767, right?